I'd like to call to order a meeting of Cortland City Council. Today is Monday, April 21st, 2025. Invite everyone to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for a brief prayer. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for the privilege and the opportunity to serve you and to serve the city. We ask for your wisdom and guidance on the decisions before us this evening. We ask this in your name. Amen. Rhonda, can I have a roll call, please?
Jim Bradley.
Here.
Kathy Fleischer.
Here.
Dick McLean.
Here.
Don Moore.
Here.
John McCurry.
Here.
Scott Rowley.
Here.
Kevin Pyros.
Here. May I have a motion for the approval of minutes for the April 7th, 2025 council meeting?
So moved. Second.
Any corrections? Rhonda, can I have a roll call?
Kathy Fleischer.
Yes.
Dick McLean.
Abstain.
Don Moore.
Yes.
John McCurry.
Yes.
Scott Rowley.
Yes.
Jim Bradley.
Yes.
Kevin Pyros.
Yes. May I have a motion for the approval of schedule of bills to be paid totaling $168,303.27.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? Rhonda, can I have a roll call?
Dick McLean.
Yes.
Don Moore.
Yes.
John McCurry.
Yes.
Scott Rowley.
Yes.
Jim Bradley.
Yes.
Kathy Fleischer.
Yes.
Kevin Pyros.
Yes. We have a motion for the approval of bank reconciliation ending March 31st, 2025.
So moved. Second.
Any questions? Rhonda, can I have a roll call?
Don Moore.
Yes.
John McCurry.
Yes.
Scott Rowley.
Yes.
Jim Bradley.
Yes.
Kathy Fleischer.
Yes.
Dick McLean.
Yes.
Kevin Pyros.
Yes. Okay, we have a couple items of old business. First up is ordinance O-09-25, an ordinance amending the Planning and Zoning Code and the General Offenses Code of the City of Cortland to modify and clarify language regarding barbed wire fences. This is the third and final reading submitted by the Planning, Zoning, and Building Commission. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? Rhonda, can I have a roll call, please?
John McCurry.
Yes.
Scott Rowley.
Yes.
Jim Bradley.
Yes.
Kathy Fleischer.
Yes.
Dick McLean.
Yes.
Don Moore.
Yes.
Kevin Pyros.
Yes. Okay, ordinance O-10-25, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with Alexander's Pest Control, Inc. for mosquito control. This is the third and final reading submitted by the interim service director. May I have a motion, please?
So moved. Second.
Any questions? Rhonda, can I have a roll call?
Scott Rowley.
Yes.
Jim Bradley.
Yes.
Kathy Fleischer.
Yes.
Kathy Fleischer.
Yes.
Dick McLean.
Yes.
Don Moore.
Yes.
John McCurry.
Yes.
Kevin Pyros.
Yes. Okay, we'll move on to new business. First up is Resolution R-20-25, a resolution authorizing the City of Cortland to participate in the Ohio Department of Transportation's Road Salt Contracts Award in 2025. This is submitted by the interim service director. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Chapman, because I work for the Ohio Department of Transportation, I will be abstaining.
Thank you, John. Any questions? All right. Rhonda, can I have a roll call, please?
Jim Bradley.
Yes.
Kathy Fleischer.
Yes.
Dick McLean.
Yes.
Don Moore.
Yes.
John McCurry.
Abstain.
Scott Rowley.
Yes.
Kevin Pyros.
Yes. Okay, next is Resolution R-21-25, a resolution creating the position of Economic and Community Development Manager and establishing the essential duties and functions of the position. Submitted by the mayor. May I have a motion, please?
So moved. Second.
Everybody has the job description in front of them. Any questions? John?
I have questions and then a couple comments.
Okay.
On page 1, the third bullet from the bottom, prepare and review all capital campaign and stack plans for any, I don't know what that means. The third one from the bottom.
That capital improvement campaigns or?
No, I think what that means is, like stacking finances. Okay, so for example, our water line project that we have going on downtown, we've got OPWC, we've got ARC funding, and we have
Local ARPA.
local ARPA, okay? So it's just taking a project and mapping out all the different funding sources that you're gonna utilize to fund that project.
And it's be stacked.
Okay.
John, did that?
Yeah,
Okay.
I didn't know what exactly that meant.
Okay, thanks.
As far as some quick comments,
Yep.
if you'll indulge me. I'm struggling with this one a little bit. I think it's hard to vote yes because there's still some unknowns with our new building. I think we're in a much better place now that we've decided to shift from a city services complex to a fire station and remodeling of the current building that we're in now. But the fiscal ramifications are still being figured out. I also think it's hard to vote no. The civic organizations supported events that we have in Cortland are part of our identity, I believe, and I would hate to lose that membership. And I think, as everybody knows, membership in civic organizations have declined year over year. As a result, a lot of the events that the Lions Club, the Optimist Club, the Rotary Club, and the city support are in jeopardy of disappearing. I think part of the charm of the city of Cortland is these small town type community events that we have. We have a part-time mayor, so you can't put all this on the mayor or the civic organization volunteers with dwindling memberships. I also think that filling the downtown storefronts and applying for grants needs to continue to be a priority, and I think this addresses that. I don't know if this is the right solution, but I don't have a better one right now, so I have to give deference to the mayor on her decision to add the position. I like that it reports to the mayor, so if the next mayor has a different idea, they aren't tied to the position. This doesn't get 3 readings like an ordinance, yet I think it's just as important of a decision, because I'd like to afford our residents an opportunity to express their opinion on the matter, both for and against. I would like to make a motion to table this decision until the next meeting, to provide the residents that opportunity. So I just wanted to put that motion on the table.
I'll second the motion.
Roll call on the resolution to table.
Wait, do we have any discussion before we do the roll?
Oh, I'm sorry, yes.
Okay. This is just,
Can I, excuse me, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but if we're operating under Robert's rules, a motion to table is not debated.
Well,
I don't know if that's applicable here or not, but just so you're aware.
You can pull it out there, too.
well, Patrick, is there, can there be additional discussion, or does that take precedent over any discussion?
Yeah, I don't know why you couldn't have a discussion about a motion that's on the floor, that's been first and seconded. What would be the objection to that?
Only because if we're following Robert's rules, the motion to table is not debated.
Do you have a citation for that, Dick? I don't know the Robert's Rules of Orders by heart, so.
It's in there.
Oh,
But if I can, maybe this will help. I'll withdraw my motion at this time. I'd like an opportunity to speak after, because I think robust debate is what's needed here. So am I allowed to do that? Can I withdraw my motion, to table?
Yeah, yes you can, because you were the one that raised it. Yep.
So I will withdraw my motion to table at this moment.
with you would hold the option to
remotion.
re-motion it after some more discussion.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, so the only thing I was gonna say is, this just creates a position. You know, you're not filling it,
Or funding it at this point.
or what?
Or funding it at this point, if you're just funding it, right?
But I think it seems like this is the first step, And I just think that based on the feedback I got personally from the associate service director, that, you know, I think because there aren't 3 readings, this is probably the first time a lot of residents are hearing about it. I would just like to give them an opportunity to be able to come here at the next meeting and speak for or against it. Because like I said, I think that there's reasons to vote yes, and I think there's reasons to vote no. And I would just like to, I think this is an important one to just give the residents an opportunity to speak. That's just my thoughts.
Ask the mayor, do you have somebody in mind for this position?
No, but I made it clear at MBG that the mayor doesn't do events. So I tried to put this, position in place in January. So let's just play this out. So we put it on pause, we do the resolution, even if, how many weeks you wanna give them?
Just next meeting, that's it.
Okay, next meeting. So then, the hiring ordinance is when, mid-May, June? So we're halfway through the event season, or a third of the way through the event season. I'm not running the event. I already made that statement. I don't have time to do it. So,
We have a consultant on board though, till July?
no,
No.
When is that up?
In June?
end of June.
Yeah. Now, we had this idea of what we're now calling economic and community development manager. This is not new to council.
Mm-mm.
We've talked about this for the better part of 4 to 5 months. Okay,
But it is new to the resident.
It is new to the resident.
And because of the feedback I got on the associate service director, I feel like we should give our residents, I just don't see what the harm is in allowing our residents to give, you know, an opinion on it, that's all.
Well, there are a number of things, funding, so as, a lot of this, discussion, and the reason we brought this up, or the mayor brought this up, is last Tuesday, we had our work session. And there was a lot of unknowns with funding for whatever avenue we go. This economic and community development manager, I feel is a benefit to our residents for one thing. All of us at the city, including council members, were voted to protect the interests of our residents. And one of those interests is to financially protect them. You know, by going after additional funding, which is one of the key parts of this economic and community development, we're trying to chase money. This is something we talked about last week. Chase money, and any money that we bring in is money that we don't have to ask the residents to provide. Okay, I think that shows fiscal responsibility. Yes, it takes money to make money, as they say in the business world. Okay, but without somebody looking out for the interest of the city, both at the local, the state, and the federal levels, we potentially risk losing hundreds of thousands of dollars in unchased money. I mean, the police and the fire do a great job of the grants and the processes they go through. Most of them are, I don't want to say low-hanging fruit, because they're yearly things that you know that they're going to be there. But one of the things that this position allows to do is to go chase the non-traditional revenue streams, both for the city as a whole, whether it be for that, the safety service complex, whatever it develops into, and also water line, water meters, anything that can offset capital monies or event monies that are out there that no one on council, including the mayor or any of the department heads, has the time to go after. You have to chase this money, and some of it, especially for the upcoming year, there's a very short window, and that window for the short term is next month. And I personally don't wanna go to our residents and say, we missed out on A, B, and C, which are literally tens and hundreds, potentially hundreds of thousands of dollars, because we didn't wanna create a position. Now, I don't say too much about things, on council, other than reading them. So, but this one is one that I firmly believe in, because I want anything that we can get our hands on as far as money, grants, zero interest loans, whatever it happens to be, I don't wanna lose out on those. So that's my take on this. And I welcome anyone else.
So you're saying, it says up here, replace consultants relied upon in the past, so the idea is we will not have any more consultants? Or we'll just have
Replication
a
of
person
this.
in this position would do that without hiring additional consultants?
So I'll just, chime in again. All I feel is, I guess I'm not sure what 2 weeks is gonna do. This has been, as you mentioned, we've been talking about this for a while. It's the first time it's been, really debated at council, for the residents to maybe have an interest in chiming in on it. I don't think 2 weeks. And again, we just said we have a consultant on board for a lot of the things you just talked about through the end of June. So, to me, 2 weeks is not, unreasonable, to give our residents an opportunity to give some feedback for or against.
Well, considering as you see on Facebook, all of the comments, I don't see anybody here tonight, and as most of the time, it's unfortunately, it's easy to comment on Facebook, but I don't see anybody here, tonight arguing against or for the position, so that's all I'll say about that.
What would be the potential cost or savings of having somebody in a new position versus what we'd save by not having consultants? Any idea?
I just have the numbers from when we talked about it last time, was right now we're paying $49,000 between the grant consultants and Fuji Lee, KO, and we did Heritage Ohio to get the to get the downtown, so it would,
Oh, we
I mean,
paid Gaza too.
yeah, and Vaza, yeah, so just last year was 49,000, so you take the difference, I always say about 100,000 a new employee, because you have benefits, health insurance, things like that, so, get an extra 50,000 for it,
And we have the
above
money-
what we're
do we have
paying.
the money for that?
50,000, yeah.
Sean, what kind of, grants and everything do you foresee, something that could be things that we could, the sooner, I mean, some of those stuff is due like in May.
Yeah, I mean, I can tell you that, since I took the position in January, because you had a motion.
Sean, I'm sorry, we got that thing going again.
Oh, here's one.
Oh, there we go, see, now we figured out what the button
I know.
for.
Figured that out for you guys, PhD. So, just since I took the job in January, because you had a motion in January where you all debated this for the first time, we have had, to give you one example, you have a significant area of St. Andrews where the storm sewer has failed. And when we talked about this in January, I said, if you create this position, there's Department of Transportation money I can go out after. We missed out on $1.5 million that we could have had to offset the cost for those residents in St. Andrews. So at this point, your options are they live with a failed sewer system for another year and a half while we wait for that cycle, or we do it and we assess those people. In May specifically, you have the Lake to River annual meeting. That's on the 8th of May. You have a ARPA grant that closes, that would close before the 2-week window that Councilman Procuri is talking about. You would lose out on that one. And there's a couple other smaller grant cycles. If you wait an extra 2 weeks, you lose out on it.
So I have to ask though, we don't have a person, so it's not like the person's gonna be hired today, so what's gonna happen in 2 weeks is the same thing that's gonna happen if we wait 2 weeks.
Because in your meeting in 2 weeks, I can potentially bring a candidate to you that we could have start chasing that money. It's up to you, but
Well, if you wait for the first week reading to talk about it, now you're talking that no action can be taken until the second reading.
right.
Now you're at the end of May, you're towards the end of May.
All I know is we have a consultant on board that some of this is in their job description or in their contract. It's through the end of June. I'm just one council person. People can vote accordingly. I'd like to make a motion that we table the decision until the next meeting to provide our residents an opportunity to give feedback.
I'll second the motion.
And there is the right to debate the motion that's on the floor. The first thing that happens after a motion is raised and seconded, the chair, that would be Kevin,
Yes.
allows three things to happen. One, members debate the motion, that's on, in section 4, page 34 of the Roberts Rules of Order. So members debate the motion. Number 2, the chair puts the question to the board. And 3, the chair announces the results of the vote.
So just like we
Made
do
away
with,
if you choose, if
yeah,
not.
so just like with our resolution for participating with the Department of Transportation, once the primary and the motion and the second, we have the option to do, debate before we take it.
Absolutely,
Okay.
yes.
Just for the record, I'm going to research that a little further. What Patrick is giving us, I think, applies to all motions, but an exception is made elsewhere in Robert's rules, specifically about motions to table. But I'll research that a little further for everyone's benefit.
I just don't see the long-term benefit, the benefit and the risk. I think the benefits are, we can move on this, in a timely manner. I don't support, tabling it. That's my thoughts. I think we should, vote, and I hope that we, vote, to not table it, and then we vote to, create the position, and then put the processes in place to advertise and fill the position.
If we advertise it, how long of a time period?
Minimum of a week to 9, 10 days, something like that.
To get,
It'll be advertised with the, just like we did, before, until filled. So it's not gonna be I'd say, it's 2 weeks, it's 3 weeks, it's advertised until filled. But it'll be advertised, I believe, tomorrow, if it passes tonight,
If you pass it tonight, we'll advertise it on the website tomorrow.
and put it on other websites that we have come to know,
Yes. There we go.
including LinkedIn and all those places, Jobs Ohio, and others.
Kevin, can you talk about maybe the total process of this after we, if this goes to a vote, and this is to create the actual position?
Right.
But, what comes after that?
Well, after the posting is done, mayor will, entertain applications, anyone interested in this position. And then the mayor will review those as they come in and, evaluate the candidates, and then select the candidate that best, fits the, job duties, responsibilities, and, based upon prior performances and experience. And then, the mayor will, come to council with a proposal, an ordinance, to hire, who she feels is best qualified to fill this position. And again, then that will come to council for a vote.
does the council need to establish a salary range?
No, because, now,
We would vote on it,
we would vote on the proposal to come. like when we've done all the other, non-administrative, it's always been, negotiated by the mayor. Okay?
So you wouldn't advertise a salary range?
No. It's salary commensurate with the experience and qualifications, just like we have done. Now, the police and fire follow different because they're civil service, so there's guidelines. But all of the non-administrative, positions in the city never has been, a salary range, so say, just the department heads were, like with the director of public service, we put a range in there. But all the other subordinate positions, no, we've never advertised a range. It's negotiated.
I wanted to say that I agree with John, it's kind of like a struggle for me, like, yes, no, you know, but like, is good reasons, bad reasons, whatever, I agree with all those. My question is about, we only repealed the pay and benefits for the associate service directors. I didn't know if there was a plan for those positions, but if we're not gonna fill them, I'd like to see them repealed before I vote for something like this.
Well, the intention is to repeal to
We hadn't talked about that. I mean, we could be open for it. So again, this is, the day-to-day responsibilities that fall under the mayor. From a budget standpoint, this isn't any new money. So leaving one of those open, I don't see how we would fill this position and then fill those positions and still be under budget. At that point, we'd probably have to come to you and ask for more money.
Well, that's why I was kind of wondering what the plan was, if you guys had a plan already for them, or if this was like,
There seems to be a lot of confusion with the title Associate Service Director. That's why we repealed that, or that's why
They're vacant.
that's why we're vacant.
I mean, are you suggesting we could just hire this person into that position since?
no, I was thinking like, since we're creating a new one, and we're not using those, why not just repeal those? We repealed the funding, but we didn't repeal the position.
I don't think you repealed the funding, we just moved those people out and vacated.
Well, we repealed their pay and benefits, is what we did, we didn't repeal the actual
You didn't
position.
repeal their,
we repealed the ordinance that hired them.
right.
And that included their pay and benefits.
Yeah, right, yeah.
That doesn't change the budget for the department, though. The budget's set.
I understand that, but I think there's a problem with, now we have created the position, and then we have
So
those two.
could we clean up and remove those from?
The mayor is in charge of the day-to-day activities, so that would be up to her. But, I mean, we could, using Councilwoman's idea, we could potentially just fill that position since it exists already.
Sure.
Instead of creating a new position, if that would be easier for council. And then assign economic development, all these titles or responsibilities, we could just assign to that position. It already exists, so.
Well, that's what got us in trouble last time, because with
Associate
two
service.
associate service directors, one handling EPA, one handling planning and zoning and other stuff. That was confusion.
But I mean,
The
I think
council
this,
couldn't defend
Yeah.
the position.
Yeah, I think that the idea of creating this position called Economic and Community Development Manager gets us away from using the Associate
Right,
Service Director.
I wouldn't like the term associate service
Yeah.
director for this,
No,
I just,
so,
You just don't want those sitting on the books, is what
Right,
you're saying.
right.
Okay.
because then, we get beat up for those, so. I don't wanna have four out there, you know what I mean?
I would support that if we take those two off the books, so that they are no longer even under the hierarchy, and then we would have this position.
that makes it cleaner for you,
Yeah, if it makes it cleaner, then we can agree to do that.
This position though, the one that we're talking
Yeah.
about here, on R21, even if you repealed or cleaned up or took those two slots away, this is a standalone position. This position right here on R21 is a standalone position, not within the service department, correct? Right now, it's a
Right.
position that just reports to the mayor.
Right.
So, I wouldn't want this position here to then fall under service.
No.
This position that we're talking about in R21 should be a standalone
It reports to
item
the mayor.
that reports to the mayor.
Yes.
Because the mayor is,
So it really is two separate
you know,
things.
wanting to use this position.
But we can come back to clean up the, structure of the service department.
That's a good point. One really doesn't affect the other because they're two separate departments, so to speak.
Yeah, we could come back and vacate or whatever terminology we want to use to get rid of those slots for associate service directors. Whatever, I would definitely understand why we would do that.
I just don't want to get beat up for creating 4 positions, even though 2 aren't filled. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we're still two, just
Just two.
two totally different focuses,
Yeah.
2 different reporting mechanisms.
3, 2 associate service directors.
And then we did.
Well, no, we're
we did
gonna get rid of
last
those
week.
and just
No, but creating 4 positions.
Well, we created the 2 associates and then we
communication,
created the
compliance.
compliance, yeah.
compliance.
So,
Yes.
we're gonna get rid of the 2 empty slots just to clean it up. Okay,
Why is this a resolution and not an ordinance?
Because we're just creating the
we're
position.
not, yeah, ordinance is
That's what he's
not,
done
we're not
by-
spending money. Ordinance is spending money, and this one doesn't spend the money.
Well, somebody's gonna be awfully disappointed if they get hired for it, if they don't spend money.
Any other discussions? All right, we have a, motion on the floor to table. Rhonda, can I have a roll call?
Kathy Fleischer?
I don't like this question. Yeah, I think we have somebody in a position that can apply for grants right now, so I'm fine with tabling it.
Chip McLean?
Yes?
Don Moore?
Yes.
John McCurry?
Yes.
Scott Riley?
No.
Jim Bradley?
No.
Kevin Pyra?
No.
R2125 is tabled.
I would just ask council, if we have residents that are, talking to you about these positions, that they would come to the council meeting. I don't do Facebook. I will not respond on Facebook. There's too much information involved. So if they want to come and have a discussion, they can call me anytime at the office, and I can return calls, or I would ask that they would come to the next council meeting.
And Mayor, that was my point. It's gonna be out there. They're gonna have, if someone feels strongly about it, they need to come talk about it at the next meeting, or it is what it is.
Or they can, if they're not comfortable coming and standing in public, they can give me a phone call too. I don't have a problem with that. But there's a lot of information, more information than I believe a lot of people realize, that I'm simply not going to type on social media account.
I think that's fair. I don't know if I can speak or not to continue this. If we don't, get to the table, that's fine. But I know, when I get to be in front of people and actually talk to people, it's helpful. People sometimes see snippets of things and don't continue to read through everything. Or when you get in front of somebody, you can actually communicate with them. You can explain what it is that maybe we're trying to do. Not just on this, but on everything. It's extremely helpful. So yeah, I urge residents to come and be part of the process and to reach out and get all the information that they possibly can, and not just from one source or from one.
I mean, if I'm here, I answer my own phone, so.
Thanks, Jeff. All right, ordinance ordinance O-21-25, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with SE Blueprint for the digitalization of the city of Cortland's maps and drawings. This is the first reading submitted by the mayor. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions?
Well, I'd just like to thank Terry Bernofsky, who, kind of headed up this project that kind of has expanded, but this is step one. This is taking all of our large blueprints down, that are downstairs in the basement. We've got about 8,000 documents, and getting these digitized. Anyway, bottom line, she did a lot of work, presented her findings to Sean and Patty and I, and this is just one step in what's going to be an ongoing process until we get all of our records digitized. But again, there are special processes for these large maps that might be very, very old. And so, SE Blueprint was, they have processes in place to take care of that, whether it be, plastic sleeves and whatever, so.
Yeah, I'm looking at that. I was concerned that just things that are fragile,
Yep.
old maps.
And so the reason we wanted to do this now is because, we wanna get them out of here so we don't have to move them. And then they'll store them for us, they'll box them up for us, they'll give us, they'll give us spreadsheets of what's in the boxes, and they'll create a digital archive, basically,
I
that's
know.
searchable.
Can I add to that?
Sure, please.
We had a gentleman call on Friday from Michigan selling, his parents' property. And we had to look for a plat map from years and years and years ago. He went to the recorder's office downtown and they didn't have anything. So he came to us before the sale could be final, and they were finalizing it this week. And the title company did end up finding one. We found one, but it was pre-condo, and he needed it. So, if it was digitized that we could just search for it, we'd have found it a lot quicker for him, but it's just gonna be a benefit to the residents to do this.
I know at the Historical Society, Kurt's taking a lot of that old archive and digitizing it and trying to catalog it, so I know that's a tremendous effort, especially when we're talking oversized.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was, we told him that, we didn't find it Thursday, that we would go down today and try and help find, see if we could find it. But, he did call and leave me a message on Friday that, the title office did find it, but the county didn't have it, who knows why. It wasn't there, we don't know.
So I was reading, now, when they give us back the documents they scan, will they be in, boxes that oil,
They'll be rolled,
tubes that are
I don't know if they'll be,
protecting?
I don't know if they'll be tubes, but they're gonna be rolled up.
Yeah.
They're gonna be an index, and it'll be labeled what what it is, and then each box is indexed on what's gonna be in there. We may never have to look at them again. If we have
But I
them
mean,
online, then,
the packaging material comes back, is that gonna be special, like we use special
no,
acid
it's
paper
just
and
in a box.
separate- Okay,
Yeah.
to try to maintain the integrity.
It's
for
just gonna
both.
be in a box, yeah.
We don't have that now.
No, they're just,
Anything's better than
Yeah,
what we've got, I think.
especially if it's just random, you can search for it.
yeah.
All right, Rhonda, can I roll call, please?
Dick McLean,
Yes.
John Moore,
Yes.
John Curie,
Yes.
Scott Riley,
Yes.
Jim Bradley,
Yes.
Kathy Fleischer,
Yes.
Kevin Kyler.
Yes. Ordinance O-22-25, an ordinance authorizing the city of Cortland to enter into a contract with Shelley and Sands, Inc. for the 2025 asphalt resurfacing program. This is the first reading submitted by the interim service director. May I have a motion, please?
Second.
Any questions, comments?
Sean, is there a date for this to be done, or is this something that gets pushed to next year?
It's gonna push until you award it, so if you wanna award it an emergency, I'd be comfortable with that, but basically, we're gonna have to push it until you get through your 3 readings.
So you're saying if we don't pass it as an emergency, maybe at the next meeting, then it wouldn't get done this year?
we're hopeful in talking to them last week, then I let them know that this would be the first, and then they didn't have any immediate feedback. I can ask that specifically if you would like, and bring that to the next meeting.
Rhonda, can I have a roll call, please?
John Moore,
Yes.
John Burcheri,
Yes.
Scott Riley,
Yes.
Jim Bradley.
Yes.
Kathy Fleischer,
Yes.
Dick McLean,
Yes.
Kevin Pyron.
Yes. Okay, ordinance O-23-25, an ordinance authorizing the interim service director to purchase 2 used maintenance trucks for use in the service department. This is an emergency submitted by the interim service director. May I have a motion, please?
Second.
May I have a motion on the emergency, please? Second. John? Feedback on?
Yeah, so, you know, cognizant of spending, do you want me to stand?
Something else going on. Some other, well, it's probably the fountain.
It's a
Yeah.
fountain.
So being cognizant of spending taxpayer dollars, you know, it's always more financially responsible to purchase something that somebody else has already taken a depreciation hit on. So specifically targeting, you know, 3-4-year-old vehicles that are coming off lease should save us tens of thousands of dollars. So, I can't do that though and have 3 readings, or I can't ask somebody to hold a used vehicle in the hopes that we pass a resolution. As much as I love you people, we don't always pass things quickly, right? So this authorizes me to go out and negotiate, spend up to a set amount, find something that is in the best interest of the city while still serving our department's needs.
And these, one of the primary, or the first focus is the trucks that are using old road signs as
Yes.
floorboards?
Yes, we currently have 2 vehicles with over 250,000 miles on them that are using, the floorboards have long since rusted out, so we took old road signs, we welded them in, those are our floorboards for our vehicles right now. So that is the condition of some of the vehicles in that department. So this will absolutely replace them, specifically gonna target things 3-4 years old, less than 50,000 miles. Good news is, in that department, we don't put a ton of miles on it, right? The city's not huge, so we can take something with 50,000 miles and make it last another, knock on wood, 10 years. So,
Do you have any vehicles in mind offhand? or not?
we specifically would like an F-350 and then a dually at this point. We also need another, right now, our water superintendent is taking samples, he's running those samples to Austin Town, and we're getting about 8 miles per gallon, so I'm probably gonna come back and ask for a 3rd vehicle, and that would be, something a lot more economical, maybe a Bronco or Equinox or something like that, in the $20,000 range, that we can put in the rotation where they don't need to specifically use it as a work truck, but at this point, anytime we need to go pick up a part or run it, we're running a 350, and that's not economical from a gas.
You wanna try and find red trucks?
Red? No sir, but if you would like that, I can
So I
absolutely.
was wondering, they're red, right? Are they, do they wanna be consistent, would they have to be painted?
John, I will do whatever you want me to do.
Oh, no, I'm just,
We have a white, don't we have a white truck?
We have a white one, we have a red one, we have a we call it the summer vehicle, some of it's red, some of it's white, some of it's whatever color the part we find,
Yeah.
yes, so
Just letter it.
we will
Yeah.
absolutely letter it, yeah. Yeah, we're gonna letter it, well, my big thing is safety. A lot of your vehicles actually don't have lights on it, so you know when they're working, so I'm not only gonna purchase it, but the money we save, I'm gonna use some of it to put lights around it that are flashing, and not just a little dome on the top, but multiple.
Any other questions? Okay, Rhonda, can I have a roll call, please, on the emergency?
Scott Riley,
Yes.
Jim Bradley,
Yes.
Kathy Fleischer.
Yes.
Dick McLean,
yes?
John Moore.
Yes.
John Burcheri,
Yes.
Kevin Pyron.
Yes, and roll call on the ordinance, please.
John Burcheri,
Yes.
Scott Riley,
Yes.
Jim Bradley,
Yes.
Kathy Fleischer.
Yes.
Dick McLean,
Yes?
John Moore,
Yes.
Kevin Pyron.
Yes. Okay, that concludes our new business. We're now on to our department reports. Sean, I should have just had you stay up there. Service Department.
Take a lesson from my colleagues, nothing further to report.
Do you have any questions? All right, thank you. Patty, Finance Department.
You have my report, and I have nothing else to report, but happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? All right, thanks, Patty. Chief Morris, Police Department.
I will follow their lead, I will answer any of your questions.
Any questions? Thanks, Chief. Chief Ray, anything from the Fire Department this evening?
Well, hell, that's like shooting fish in a barrel, I can beat all that. Anyways, I, was able to hire another part-time fire inspector to replace the one that, became fire chief in Vienna. So he will be back out visiting our businesses. He's only had a couple days in, so he's still orientating himself, to get that back on track. And I, sent back the paperwork. Several months ago, we passed, I talked about, and we passed something for the Medicaid reimbursement fund. So that is still, appears to be on track. I sent back the paperwork for us to participate in that for the 25 through 27 year. So we will see how that turns out. Probably the first payment we'll see will be in 26 is what we're estimating. So that's all I got. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Well, Chief, had you been no report, I would have had a bingo on my card, but.
Yeah, I know, I had to rain on the parade, that's the kind of guy I am, it's all right.
Thanks, Chief.
Uh,
Mayor, report.
No report.
Oh, man,
I would
okay.
have had a bingo.
You would have had a
Yeah.
bingo, 5 in a row. All right, are there any committee reports this evening? Any announcements from council? Anyone from the audience? All right, any last minute announcements?
Is
Okay.
the tree branch pickup next, not this coming Sunday, it's the following Sunday, won't be?
I believe so.
Gotta have the
28,
branches out on
27,
Sunday.
28. We go to 28, thank you. All right.
And, wait,
oh,
this,
oh.
okay, let me
For the review?
let me explain it further, okay? So, yes, you put your branches out on Sunday, they will get to them sometime during the week. They will not go back and do repeat streets. They need to be in a pile, cut a certain way. If you need more instruction, they're posted on the website.
Thank you, Mayor. No whole trees either.
Yeah, or no leaves,
Or bushes
no
with roots.
roots.
Yeah.
Cut in towards the street.
All right. Rhonda, can I have a motion for adjournment, please?
So moved. Second.
Rhonda, have a roll call.
Scott Riley, Jim Bradley.
Yes.
Kathy Fleischer.
Yes.
Dick McLean.
Yes.
Don Moore.
Yes.
John Carey.
Yes.
Kevin Pyro.
Yes. All right, thank you.